Hello, my name is Heiko Seitz, and in this session, we want to have a look in our uEye Plus industrial camera box. uEye industrial cameras have long been a well-established part in the world of machine vision applications. But for some time now, there have been news and reports about a new uEye Plus world of these cameras. We hear about new hardware, new interfaces, but there are also rumors about necessary change and a new beginning, and last but not least, a break in the use of proven uEye cameras and the new uEye Plus cameras. A reason for us to wipe these rumors off the table now. In this first of 3 sessions, I will give you a brief overview of the new world of IDS industrial cameras and what this Plus is all about. Above all, you should take one thing with you today. There will be no disadvantages for either new or existing customers, nor will there be any incompatibilities with existing camera applications. So this is what you're getting from us before uEye Plus. Wait a moment, I put it in the screen so that you can see it a little better. So, okay, uEye camera, a high quality camera hardware with easy to use interfaces. USB and Ethernet are mainstream technologies that do not require additional specialized hardware. Many image sensors suitable for different applications integrated in completely different camera families for flexible application possibilities and price ranges. And very important has always been a comprehensive software environment with different tools to set up the cameras in your application easily and quickly. Camera features that can be controlled via a user-friendly programming interface, an API. The communication with all uEye cameras is done in a uniform language so that you can scale between all cameras and all requirements with one code base. So if you can handle one, you can handle them all. Many different sample source codes illustrate the simple use of the cameras and offer starting points for integration. A demonstration tool that allows you to take your first images in no time and evaluate our industrial cameras in detail without to write one line of code. As this tool allows you to fully test the performance of each uEye camera and set and save every parameter, it also serves as a configuration tool for many users, allowing you to preset cameras optimally for your application. And last but not least is the complete manufacturer support from a single source. You only need IDS as a contact for questions about the camera hardware, the driver software, the programming SDK, and the application. Today, we name the IDS industrial cameras uEye Plus. And as you can see, obviously, all the points just presented still remain. We keep all our proven components. The camera hardware remains unchanged and is still available in a wide range of models. The evolution is mainly related to the software part. So all of its components have been improved in order to offer new software bases with added value in the future. However, the most important goal was to continue all the advantages of the previous world and otherwise exploit all the possibilities to make IDS industrial cameras fit for the future. We will now take a look at where the new Plus world has developed in particular and what we have paid special attention to with our concept and perhaps eliminate a few rumors right away. Actually, almost all innovations and changes are based on a specific requirement. uEye Plus cameras, like any other vision-compliant camera, have standardized communication channel to the application software with a uniform language. In other words, it is no longer necessary to use a special manufacturer software to use the camera. UI Plus cameras are still or use still the technologies and connection techniques for transmitting camera data, such as USB or gigabit Ethernet network. But with USB 3 vision and gigavision, they are now based on standardized communication protocols. The device-related software components like drivers or transport layers, as they are called today, now mediate between the camera and the user application with the uniform programming interface GenICam. This generic interface for cameras, short GenICam, now describes and abstracts access to all available camera functions across manufacturers and transport protocols. With the standard feature naming convention, the range of functions, function names, and camera behavior have also been defined and standardized. As already mentioned, this change has performed a very crucial basis. The interfaces work equally for all standard cameras. Therefore, all UI Plus cameras now work out of the box with any vision compliant application and are no longer bound to a specific manufacturer software. Within the vision standard, this means for cameras, unpack, connect, work. Many of the well-known image processing frameworks are nowadays vision compliant and provide such a generic camera interface, making the integration and use of vision cameras fast and uncomplicated. And thanks to the standard basis, users now have many more possibilities and interfaces to work with the cameras. Later, my colleague Eva will show you a few examples of how easy it is to integrate UI Plus cameras with the new possibilities into machine vision applications. But in addition to the standard interface, there is still a comprehensive IDS software environment for our cameras. The central UI Plus camera SDK IDS Peak is now also based on the standardized GenICam API and is an alternative, it's so easy software layer to make coding and accessing cameras much more convenient. We'll talk about it in a moment. Before that, it is important to mention how UI Plus cameras differ from their previous models. This is because standardization demanded an important change in terms of the camera's range of functions. In order to make the UI cameras independent of the PC software and responsive to any standard vision software, the complete feature control for processing the raw sensor data had to move into the camera. No? Previously, this was mapped in the UI software libraries of the IDS software suite. In other words, the UI PC software. This includes functions such as debayering, grayscale transformation, lookup tables, defect pixel removal, or white balance corrections. However, in order to perform these pixel operations with a high performance in so-called pixel pipeline of the camera, special hardware components such as FPGAs are required. Apart from increased energy consumption and thus higher heat generation due to the additional processes that now run in the camera, each additional function code also requires more space in the FPGA of the camera. So it is now also important to consider which features should be implemented in which camera model, because the available space is limited. And making more space and power available would also cause more cost per camera. However, since we don't want to equip every camera family with a large FPGA in order to be able to continue to offer our customers cost-efficient, space-saving, and energy-saving low-cost cameras, there is not enough space, especially in the small cameras, for the from the LE families downwards to include all the feature options. But not every camera has to offer every feature. Often the basic features of a camera are sufficient for an application. With UI Plus, we now have the possibility to flexibly design and offer cameras with very different features for different application requirements. Each of these standard cameras, regardless of whether it is a low-cost camera or a premium high-end camera, tells the software what it can do and deliver via a standardized XML file. But you may wonder, what about the functions that cannot be implemented in the cameras? What if you need exactly one of them, but still don't want to or can't switch to another camera? This is a relevant question, but it is no problem. The standard does not prohibit implementing further functions in libraries via PC software. And this is exactly where a fully adapted hardware software product has its benefits. UI Plus is therefore not only hardware, but in combination with the IDS Peak software environment, it offers many more free advantages that the standard cannot generally provide. On the one hand, we can use IDS Peak to add missing features to low-cost cameras without making their hardware more expensive. At the same time, we can optionally integrate these functions in a camera's control pixel pipeline so that the user will not notice any difference in the programming compared to full-featured cameras. This way, the range of functions of the cameras can also receive special custom add-ons, which we then develop in close cooperation with the customers. There are already various features that have found their way in the software as a result of customer projects and will therefore be available to all IDS cameras afterwards. Another important advantage based on the independence of UI Plus cameras is much more flexible planning and implementation of product updates. IDS has been continuously evolving cameras since the first UI industrial camera has introduced. This means that UI Plus cameras can be updated with new firmware for each individual camera model independently of the PC software, which a user can then carry out on its own. This way, on-camera features are expanded and improved, or possible errors can be fixed. However, updating vision cameras is not something that can be taken for granted. IDS already provided updates for the first UI Plus cameras via its own update mechanism, even before there was a standard firmware update tool for this topic in 2019. And even today, firmware updates are not offered by every manufacturer. As UI Plus cameras no longer have any mandatory dependencies on any host software due to the standardization, these model-specific updates can even be planned and provided in a shorter time and more flexibly than before UI Plus. Further plus points that arise with the UI Plus software environment compared to the pure standard are, for example, basic image processing functions directly integrated into the camera SDK, for which you do not have to use any extra software. For this, IDS Peak is equipped with the additional image processing library. Here, users will find functions such as pixel deburring, color and gamma correction, mirroring, rotation of image data, or even a few useful automatic functions to continuously control certain sensor parameters. Due to the direct integration into the SDK, such functions are also executed very efficiently at the right place in the optional order and with little time or resource overhead. So the users don't have to care about that. In addition, with IDS Peak, you do not have to program directly with GenICam. Of course, you can, but you will be pleased about the many user-friendly convenience functions that make application programming much faster, easier, and more understandable. For example, if you want to open the first available camera, and you can do this with one function call with the meaningful name open first available camera. And so there are many functions that quickly enable important use cases in a very understandable way. Eva will show you afterwards how you can start an application with just a few lines of code, whereas with GenICam, you have to code much more, I would say, more extensively. Users can also choose from several programming languages in IDS Peak that best suits to their project. It doesn't matter whether it should be more object-oriented with C++ or .NET, or whether they use a very flexible basic language with C, or rapid prototyping with Python. All languages are based on the same standardized code base and allow full access to all camera functions and offer users a quick and user-friendly introduction to application development with many comfort and additional functions. And on top of that, we offer tools, code examples, and our proven and well-known Cockpit to prepare uEye cameras even faster and more easily for your application. And last but not least, the software is made complete with the uEye transport layer, which is, of course, fully compliant with the standard. Of course, you could use any other transport layer for standard cameras, but there are clear advantages to staying with the same manufacturer for all of these software components. IDS offers end-to-end manufacturer support with uEye+. From the camera hardware to the limits of your application, you only have one contact person for every problem. IDS, a crucial time and cost advantage in case of questions and errors. So Eva will give you more impressions on the benefits of a manufacturer-specific camera SDK like IDS Peak to compare to relying directly on the GenICam standard later on. A few words about the added value of software tools. A utility like the IDS Peak Cockpit is not just a demonstrator for opening cameras and quickly displaying the camera image. A lot of know-how and ideas have gone into the Cockpit tool over the years now, making it a Swiss Army knife for uEye cameras. While it was initially only a tool for quickly executing and getting to know the possible functions of a camera in a graphical interface, today it has already become a working tool for many users. For example, when it comes to perfectly adjusting a camera for an application situation with the help of histograms, saving this in a configuration file and using it in a later application. This way, you can configure a big part of the application preparation instead of programming. Furthermore, error cases or other special situations can be analyzed in a systematic way. Image material can be inspected, measured optically down to pixel level, and even annotated in order to document this in a professional way. The Cockpit even allows you to compose parameters and dialogues individually in order to build your own workspace, which can also be saved and reused. My colleague Patrick will present you the possibilities in more detail later in the following session. So to sum all this up, what we have learned about the new IDS industrial cameras. uEye+ is the ongoing development of the proven uEye industrial cameras. The cameras and software are fully vision compliant to USB 3 vision and Gig vision standard, as well as GenICam as the code base. all known benefits of the UI world still remain. All cameras, both new UI Plus cameras and UE cameras in the field, are compatible with the new IDS Peak software environment. With UI Plus, new customers will find modern, flexible, and user-friendly industrial camera components. Legacy customers have the flexibility to add new UI Plus cameras to their existing applications and choose whether to upgrade to the new IDS Peak environment or continue to use proven IDS software suite. UI Plus is more than just standard industrial cameras. And a good example of why you shouldn't compare and choose cameras based on pure feature tables. So thank you for listening. And if there are any questions, so I'm here and you could ask them. Thank you.